How's everyone doing? I read an article published by the New World Encyclopedia, and it stated that wrestling dates as far back as 3,400 BC. A little known fact is that the two competitors would actually wrestle naked. I'd say that had to be a pretty painful matchup because I don't think anyone was wearing a cup either. These are wrestling shoes. Wrestling shoes are used to provide an athlete of wrestling protection for their ankle, protection against diseases or bacteria that may occur on the mat, better traction on the mat, and protection from an opponent's sharp toenails. By learning more about wrestling shoes, I hope you'll understand the wrestling culture better and learn more about wrestling culture. First, I will discuss wrestling shoes and how they represent the culture of wrestling, and then I will discuss how I identify with the culture of wrestling. Wrestling shoes are used to provide protection against an athlete's ankle. When wrestling, while trying to execute certain moves, you put yourself in dangerous positions. So these shoes, as you can see, the laces go really high, so if you make them tight enough, you can provide yourself protection while trying to execute these dangerous moves. Also, when wrestling, if you're not wearing these certain shoes and your feet were to get sweaty, you would start slipping all over the mat. So that is why these shoes have a lot of grip on the bottoms and sides, so that while trying to execute certain moves on the mat, you have better traction. These shoes also provide protection from bacteria or diseases that may occur on the mat, and these occur by athletes being sweaty in these hot temperatures that occur, and then bacteria slowly builds up, and if your foot was to brush over this bacteria, you would easily contract this bacteria. So that is why these have the thick leathery exterior, so that they provide protection from that. And then, say your opponent has some hygiene issues and he doesn't trim his toenails, these wrestling shoes will definitely keep those talons under control. Now that I explained how wrestling shoes provide protection from these different things and give you better traction, I will discuss how I identify with the wrestling culture. I wrestled, therefore I consider myself part of this culture. And when I first entered high school, I knew I wanted to play a sport, but I wasn't sure what sport that was. And I knew a lot of the cool kids were playing football, so I said, hey, let me give that a try. When I first went we were in the weight room for football, and all the kids were cocky, and I didn't really enjoy their cocky attitudes, so I said, let me go venture out and see if I could find a different sport that I will enjoy. And when I was hesitant to join the wrestling team because a lot of the kids at school would say, oh, people in wrestling, what do? They just like rubbing up on dudes and stuff. So I was hesitant to join, but when I went and I talked to the wrestling coach and I asked him, what would I need in order to join wrestling? And he told me, you would just need some headgear, a pair of shoes, and a pair of balls. And I told him, okay, well, all I gotta do is tackle people, right? It won't be that hard. And when I went to the first practice, I was mistakenly wrong because I was being tossed around like a rag doll by all the other experienced wrestlers. And then after years of training and wrestling and getting stronger in the gym, going to practice before and after school, jogging at 4 in the morning, my junior year of wrestling, I went undefeated in league. And then if you guys didn't know, in league, you will face the same people that you face in league finals, but like a tournament style. So in league, I had beat a kid, and then in league finals, he caught me on my back and pinned me. And from then on, I had such high hopes for myself that I quit wrestling then and there. I'm glad I joined wrestling, even though I quit. I'm glad I joined because it has given me a lot of skill sets, and it has enhanced my abilities in order for me to drive in the workforce out here. Now that you have a better understanding of wrestling shoes and the culture it represents, hopefully you'll now you have a better understanding of the culture it represents and wrestling shoes. Firstly, I discussed wrestling shoes and how they provide protection for an athlete of wrestling, and then I discussed how I represent with the culture of wrestling. And as a wrestler, or as a person in high school, I know a lot of people talk bad about wrestling, and I was hesitant to join the sport, but after I joined the sport, it gave me a lot of skill sets that I will benefit from in the future. So before talking down something that you guys don't know about, try it for yourself.